Hey guys, good day. Kochi here. Welcome back to the Let's Vitalize Together channel. We have been gone for a while, but we wanted to make a quick, long format content for you guys. And so today we wanted to do a longer book review on The Gap in the Game. I did do a small one on my Instagram, so please follow me at Kochi. It's Help Kochi on Instagram. And pretty much from there you can find all my Twitter, my website, letsvitalize.com, just to check out a little bit about what we do in the fitness world. But with further ado, let's get into the breakdown of The Gap in the Game. All right, The Gap in the Game was written by Dr. Benjamin Hardy with help from Ed Sullivan. To me, the audiobook is really cool because they have some conversations about the topics after each chapter, which I think you will get some great insight from. So I highly recommend the audiobook, but of course, learning to read and focus and actually get from the end of one book to the other, I think it's transformational things that happen when you read books entirely. The Gap in the Game is really about how you perceive the things that happen to you, and if good things happen or bad things happen, how do we respond and how do we view these? So usually, for example, let's say that I give a cookie to a certain kid, and then another kid sees that their other person gave their kid two cookies, but my kid only got one. My kid might be like, oh man, I'm mad because I only got one cookie instead of having two. So all that does is rob you of the moment that, hey, you should enjoy the cookie that you have and try to be happy that you at least have one cookie, right? Does that mean that that's always the correct way? No, but I'm giving a pretty simple example. So that was just a little example from me and my understanding. Now I'm going to break down some better ones so you guys can understand it a little bit better. I think the main concept again of the book is just to understand how to navigate when things happen in life and how you're going to perceive how those things happen and how that can influence your happiness. I started this quote from Dan Johnson, a Olympic gold medalist in 1994, and he goes, "You and you alone are the person who should take the measure of your own success. I do not try to be better than anyone else. I only try to be better than myself." Dan Johnson. So again, we're always going to compete with ourselves. Comparison is the thief of joy. And so sometimes, again, like the cookie example, if some people have more than you, you can't focus on that they have more and make that feel you bad. You have to appreciate what you have and try to be happy in the now moment. Now we'll go over some different examples that I took from the book that I thought lay down the foundation very well of the example of the gap in the game. Here we go. So, when you measure yourself against an impossible ideal, you're in the gap. When you measure backwards, it's called A and B, always measure backwards, you are in the game. Shift and focus on what is happening and be happy. In every circumstance you're either in the gap or the game, but you can't be in both at once. So that's the cool part about learning this trick, is that you're either in the gap or you're in the game. You can try to figure out where you're at and try to do that fast, because I think that's what's helpful about this book, is that it's gonna keep it simple for you, so you don't have to think too much. You just ask yourself, okay, am I in the gap? Am I in the game? How am I acting? How am I viewing this? And then if I feel like I'm in the gap, then my goal is to get back to the game. This is another example from the book. So imagine you were going to a concert you've been wanting to always go to, and you were about 5 minutes late, and you let that ruin your experience instead of focusing on what you're actually doing and seeing that the whole night is a game. So again, sometimes when we're doing things, if things don't go perfect, we let that affect the fact that what we're doing is something that we really wanted to go, and so we're shifting our energy into the gap, right? Instead of looking at the whole big picture of like, man, I'm so happy I'm here. Yeah, we're 5 minutes late. Who cares? Let's enjoy the experience. Let's be in the moment. Let's try to enjoy ourselves. Next example, your mom might not make the food you might not like, and it's because it's not your favorite dish. Still, it's really good food. So are you in the gap or are you in the game? Right, if there's food served, it's still really good. It might not be your favorite dish, but you're complaining that it's not your favorite dish instead of appreciating that you have some good food, right? So again, then you're stepping into the gap instead of being in the game. And yeah, most of us live in the gap treadmill. So this quote from Bob Marley can bring it all together. The day you stop racing is the day you win the race, by Bob Marley. So please try to get off the gap treadmill. So with this quote of Bob Marley puts it into context. The day you stop racing is the day you win the race. Bob Marley. Let's go into some more examples. The gap makes every experience a negative, which means you're worse off than you were before that experience. The gap makes any form of a progress a letdown. Whatever you've done isn't enough because the standard or ideal of success keeps moving, right? So 2 things to think about. The next one is the gap makes you a tyrant because all you can see is where others aren't measuring up. So let's say your spouse is doing something like maybe they want to lose weight and they're trying to eat a little better, trying to go to the gym. They're doing it, but because they're not where you want them to be, you don't think it's good enough, and you are not seeing that they're actually trying and doing a lot better, and over time they will get where they want to get, but because you're measuring them from that ideal that you see them in, it blinds you to see the work and the changes that they're making in the now, right? So think about that. These excerpts are really, they kind of put everything into context, so listen up. Ideals are like a horizon in the desert. No matter how many steps you take forward, the horizon continues to move out of reach. Psychology calls it a hedonic adaptation, the tendency of humans to quickly adapt to where they are and what they've got. It leads you to never being satisfied and to constantly seeking the next thing. So again, guys, understand that your mind is shaped this way, and it's been probably programmed if you're over 30 listening to this, that long. So understand that that's going to have an effect on how you operate. Another example is, no matter how big the change or goals that you reach, your thrill wears off and you quickly revert to feeling normal and unfulfilled again. You move forward and the horizon moved with you. So that's the concept of, again, having ideals that you're trying to live up to, because maybe you are trying to get to a goal, and goals are great because they give us like a direction. However, as you get closer to your goal, you're going to be happy, but most people get there and they're not happy anymore because they now are thinking about, or it's not good enough for them. So guys, think about how many times you do that and you rob yourself of the gains and success that you've created through your hard work. This is a coined term from Dr. Michael Eysenck, the hedonic treadmill. You're working harder and harder to be happy and staying exactly where you started. The reason it exists is because people aren't taught how to be happy. Ideals are meant to provide a direction, motivation, and meaning to our life. They are not the measuring stick. And stop trying to use your ideals, because ideals are just literally ideas of where you think you should be. So again, these are always going to rob you of the now moment and being happy and appreciative when good things happen in the moment, because you're already thinking, or you're thinking that it's not good enough, or it didn't play out how you wanted to, or there's I can go many examples, but I think you get the point. Let's go with some more spots from the book. Our society has trained us to measure ourselves against our own ideals, which by definition are unreachable. Goals, on the other hand, are reachable. But our society is driven by continually inflated and unreachable ideals, and that is why we live in a consumer-driven culture. This is why we tend to keep up with the Joneses. And I think this is super important because I think especially if you're trying to save money and have like a more happy and abundant lifestyle, I think keeping up with the Joneses is one of the things that really can mess you up, especially in a first world country, because you feel like you have to keep up with other people and the ideals that you're being showed on social media, on TV, YouTube, streaming, all this stuff, which again are not realistic, but you measure yourself towards that, and they put that on purpose for you to measure yourself, which is why you stay in the keep with the Joneses, and that's why there's such a thing in American culture, which I think we can help ourselves by having conversations about topics like this. Now we're going to touch on a touchy subject, which is a religion, right? So even religion, which is supposed to bring people hope and healing, can make people go into the gap. As a friend told me, I'm always measuring myself against perfection because I believe that's what God can make me, and I'm never measuring up. Maybe he didn't get the memo that God is in the game and not the gap. So that's a beautiful quote, and I think that's super important for all my people that are religious or really identify with their religion. It's like, yeah, that's awesome. Just understand that you can never say that you're never going to be good enough, especially if you're doing your best and you're becoming a better person. Again, perfection doesn't exist. Only God is perfect. So why are you measuring yourself to perfection? All right, so this is the last point. I'm going to bring it all together. I tried to explain it with the cookie earlier. I don't think that was a great example, but I'm gonna keep it on here anyway. And this once again from the book. So, example, let's say you're starting to trying to do something and your goal is to get to 30 points. So your starting point is 1 and your goal is 30, but you only get to 22. You're in the gain if you measure the progress you've made, aka you've moved up 21 spots, right, from 1 to 22. You're in the gap if you measure from 30 and you're saying that you're 8 short. So I think that example is pretty, to give you guys an idea of like what the whole gap in the gain is about, right? And I think these examples are pretty on point. And of course, like, to really understand it, please support the book. You know, this is something free, just to give you a quick breakdown, but there's way more in the book, and I highly recommend it. I've listened to this book like 5 times because it's so good, and this also helped me not only be in a better mood, be happier with my progress, because I'm always doing hard things, and sometimes I, again, put myself in the gap because I don't think I'm doing as good as I should be. But when I measure backwards, I'm doing a lot better than I used to be. So think about that. And the last quote I want to leave you guys with, which I don't know who created this quote, but I think it's smart. On the journey of 1,000 miles, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with 1 step. So guys, if you're trying to accomplish something, you're not sure, you'll never be ready. So don't worry about being ready. Go for it. Get some mentors. You can read the book from them also, The Who Not How, to help you with that. And guys, thank you so much. Please check out more of our fitness content on my Instagram. And you know, any questions, reach out. My email and all my links are on the bottom in the description box. Thank you so much. Please subscribe, and remember, go crush your workout. Peace.